I was wanting to do physiotherapy and didn't have any money, so there were 2 hospitals in England where you could go and train as an orthopaedic nurse and then as a physiotherapy student, and then you worked for a year for the hospital. And those were the Royal Cripples Hospital in Birmingham and Oswestry Hospital. And we didn't have anything much to do with Oswestry, but they were there. And I actually started orthopaedic nursing about 2 weeks after the war finished. And I arrived there in Birmingham and was fitted out with a uniform the day I arrived. The next day we were put into a little group and shown round the hospital, and the next day we started on the wards, aged 17, never having seen a bedpan or a bottle or a patient, unless we'd been a patient ourselves. And we survived 2 years of very heavy work. I'm not surprised a lot of physios have bad backs, because there was nothing except a monkey pole, and nearly all our patients had monkey poles, which today are like hen's teeth. But they are wonderful for helping to move people. And a lot of our patients were in hospital for 5 years, TB spines, TB hips, and we had nothing special in the way of nursing, of medicines or anything, because penicillin, when I first started, wasn't available for civilians. I actually gave some of the first penicillin in the hospital. It was a yellow powder that we had to mix with, I think, distilled water and inject into the buttocks every 3 hours, 24 hours a day. And supposed to be kept in a refrigerator. We didn't have a refrigerator, so we kept it on the outside of the kitchen window, on the windowsill, where it was nice and cold. And penicillin in those days was a miracle, absolute miracle. I loved nursing. It was very, very hard, very heavy. We worked 13 hours a day, and one thing that struck me from the nursing there, and when I came to New Zealand, our hospital had a wing for night nurses. When I came to Waikato Hospital, going along the nurses' home passage, you saw notices on doors, "Night nurse, quiet please," and we were on the main corridor going to the dining room. It was never quiet. I don't know how they ever slept. Anyway, going back to England, the first thing I can remember about physiotherapy when I was nursing was the physiotherapy school had an open day, and we saw all sorts of different things. Well, no, I should say the hospital had an open day, and I can remember I did about 5 little dollies in different plasters, hip spikers and things like that. But the physiotherapists also had things on display. And I can remember learning you didn't just breathe, there were different parts of the lungs that you could breathe, and you could isolate breathing to the different areas. And sometime after that, I must have had either nights off or days off, and I went home right down into Kent. And I went for a walk with my mother up on the South Downs, and I taught her different breathing exercises with what are those yellow flowers? Not primroses.
Cowslips?
Yes, with cowslips round us and little blue butterflies flying in the sun, and we were up on the chalk hills. So that's the first thing I really remember learning about physio. Except the last year I was at school, I was a boarder, and I was put into a double room. We didn't have double rooms at school, we had cubicles, and the girl I was sharing with had bronchiectasis, and I actually gave her postural drainage. She showed me what to do, which was nothing really like physio did. It was just pure banging, really. But again, that was the beginning of my contact with physio. And then trained as a physio, and we lived in a hostel down the road and went up to the main hospital for all our meals, although we were physio students, and then qualified.